Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
All of the, tens of accusations she's made against me and my staff. The thing is, the judge hasn't heard it, hasn't ruled on it, so she hasn't had a chance to fall flat on her face, as she has elsewhere, but she will. And
so that was Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo on this program a few weeks ago, saying that the charges being leveled at her office are the result of Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg with some sort of vendetta against her and her office. Well, joining me this morning is Harris County DA Kim Ogg. Good morning. Good to see you here.
Good morning, Cambrell.
Hey, when I heard those comments, and there were much more that she said about that, she had a news conference later that day to speak about what she thought were views about her office and your office. Your thoughts about her general comments and any of the specific issues you want to address?
It's important to remember that this case began with a complaint by one public official about a contract, $11 million of taxpayer money, being awarded to an individual person over a qualified health provider. It was a COVID contract. When the district attorney's office receives complaints directly, like all other law enforcement agencies, we will ask an independent law enforcement agency to come in and investigate. The DA's office is a law enforcement agency, but we're not a primary investigative agency. The Texas Rangers are. So just like they're called in for jail deaths, police shootings, and public corruption cases around the state and here, we did that. So the Texas Rangers they investigated 3 high-ranking members of her staff, brought us the evidence. We support them in that investigation, and we presented it to a grand jury of regular people who indicted her staffers for public corruption charges. The idea that this is personal is false. I don't know Lina Hidalgo personally. I don't know the members of her staff who are charged. I'm not the prosecutor. We have 350 lawyers that work for us. And most importantly, our system is legal, not political. So to conflate political accusations with criminal investigations and charges is wrong.
So the Elevate strategy is the whole center of all of this. That thing is still going on. The investigation is still ongoing right now. Is there anything that you can say about the progress of that investigation where it stands right now?
Yes. During the course of the case investigation and prosecution, the Rangers discovered possible missing or destroyed evidence. New search warrants were written, and that's what's been executed. And that's what set off this tirade by the judge.
And that was something that your office didn't have anything to do with? It was all Texas Rangers?
Well, we support them in the investigation, and our prosecutors are prosecuting her staff members. But in terms of leading the investigation, that's the law enforcement agency. And the Texas Rangers are an independent agency. They don't report to me. They have their own chain of command.
So one of the things about this, the optics of what's going on, the comments that she makes in your office are jarring because you're both Democrats. You're both Democrats in Harris County. You know that just doesn't look quite right in the political landscape of the day.
Well, it's common in the political landscape. Party infighting appears to be happening at the national and local level. But more importantly, ours is a legal office. I hold an elected position, but the work is not political. The work is legal. That's where she's conflating it. She has a political job. She's part of a different branch of government. We take an oath to follow the law. Law enforcement does that. We take that oath and we apply it regardless of race, gender, religious affiliation, or political party. And so to complain that this is about a political vendetta is misinformation and a false narrative to take the heat off the targeted individuals, the people who were indicted, her staff members, her friends.
So there was on this program a few months ago, I don't know if you remember it, you said, yeah, I'm going to run for re-election. And you hadn't said that to anybody before we said it here. You said, oh, I guess my staff ought to know that right now. But you announced you were running for re-election. You have an opponent who's formerly from your office. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, as you run for re-election, what are the issues you want voters to think about when they say, I'm going to give Kim Ogg another chance here?
I want them to know that I'm going to do my job in following the law without regard to any type of other information. We follow the facts at the district attorney's office, and we utilize evidence. We can't make that up. The policies that I've created have gotten us through Harvey, COVID, without a blip in service to the community. Our people worked through it all. And as a result, we are now coming out the other side with a backlog that's way down from what it was. We're focused on violent criminals because we spent the first number of years focusing on mental health, low-level offenders, and in fact, we have the smallest population in the state in our jail of low-level offenders. It's under 200 almost daily. Travis County, Dallas County, Bexar County all have more low-level offenders in jail. But we've done a good job, our team of prosecutors, investigators, in addressing the problems of the day. So when I came in, we hit the low-level offenders because they were filling up the jail. Unfortunately, the jail filled up with violent offenders, and now what we've got to do is try those cases, especially the murderers, because if we want to make Houston appealing to families, to businesses, people have to feel safe, and to feel safe, they need to be safe. And to do that, we have to keep focusing on the violent offenders. Public corruption cases get the high profile because they involve important people. But our legal standard is the same whether you're a private citizen or a high-profile politician. And people need the facts, and they deserve the truth. And we're never going to sweep something under the rug because somebody's a member of my same party or their staff is a member of the same party.
So now you've got former head of the Vehicular Crimes Division who's running against you, Sean Tier, and he's jumped into the race this summer. He says that your office is more interested in scoring cheap political points and pursuing personal vendettas. His words, not mine. How do you respond to him and some of the visuals that his folks, some of his folks he's raised a lot of money in running against you? What do you say to those accusations?
Well, my opponent has offered no new ideas for how to tackle Houston's crime problem. And instead, he's focused on soliciting the endorsement of a county judge whose staff has been indicted. What he hasn't told people is that his law firm is defending her chief of staff. That's a clear conflict of interest if he were to be elected the top law enforcement official. When asked whether he would stay on the case, he refused to recuse himself or say that he would recuse himself, putting himself in an irreconcilable conflict ethically. You can't be the top law enforcement official taking a look at Judge Hidalgo's staffers' cases when your law firm represents one of them. And so my opponent has an ethical issue, and this job is all about standing up, being a leader, and sticking to the job of bringing the facts to the public, getting justice for people, and getting to the truth of things.
So I want to say to you, I want to thank you for standing up and being on this program. When I've asked you to come on, you've come on. You've answered questions. I've asked you hard questions through the years, and you've always been willing to come on and do that. And as I finish my career here at KPRC, I want to personally thank you. For those who don't know, we go back about 24 years when you were leaving you went to Crime Stoppers, anti-gang and crime. So I've known you for a long time, and throughout all that time, you've never shied away from answering questions, no matter what they may be. So I appreciate that. We started it 24 years ago or so, and it's kind of appropriate that we finish this time around.
It is. You're a fair journalist. You get to the heart of the matter, and you get information to people in a way that they trust. And I think public trust is what public service is all about. We need leaders and we need media representatives who care about our jobs and doing them for the public. I'm doing my job, the Texas Rangers are doing their job, and I appreciate you doing your job, Cambrell.
Thank you, DA Kim. I look forward to seeing the results of your programs you put into place and what goes on going forward. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here, so you may get a call from me from time to time.
I look forward to it.
Right. Thank you, man.